Welcome to episode 8. So I want to start off with this cap can here that I removed, and I want to explain a little bit of what I think is going on here. So I haven't removed this one yet down here. There's only two. There's this one and there was this one. Let me show you what's going on with this one. Be right back. And you'll see I mounted a terminal strip here, but we're not ready for that yet. Okay, so you can see the can I removed actually has a part number of W22995, and it lists a 0.5 and a 0.1. Okay, and coming out of the can there's only two connections, like so. And there's tar back there. The ground, or the other side of the cap, is actually grounded directly to the chassis through here. So let me show you what the dilemma is here. So if you look at the part list right here, you'll see that let me see if I can point this to you so you see it. Just get a pointer. So the part number 22995 is the part I just showed you. It says it's a 5 and a 1. Okay, that's fine. However, when you look at the schematic, that part number doesn't exist anywhere here. So I have to assume that this is a revision of some sort. Now, if I follow the wires that I removed from that capacitor, and it's pretty straightforward. There's nothing magic about it. It actually comes up here. This is a 0.5. Okay, and it actually comes up over here, which is a 0.25. So why do I have a 0.5 and a 0.25 when the can says it's a 0.5 and a 0.1? Well, the only thing I can really think of is there's also a 0.25 microfarad cap here, which is nowhere in the radio. So what I think they did was they have the 0.5, and they put this 0.25 here and this 0.25 here and put them in series. And if you put them in series, the relative capacitance is going to be 0.12. So really what they did is they tied the connections together and used a capacitor in series and used this can. That's all I could think of. That's what makes sense to me anyway. Can't think of another explanation. The 0.1 that's right here has a different part number. It ends in 412. There's one here. There's one here. There's one down here. And there's another one. Let's see, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there's 1, there's 2, 3, 5, and here's 4. So there's 4 of those, and that's what's in the other can. So I'm going to go with the theory that they took two 0.25s, one here and one here, put them together in series because they all connect along the same path anyway, and that's why this is listed as a 0.1. Okay? So when I connect it, I'm going to connect it the same way. I'm going to put a 0.1 in there and just make sure that these points are connected together. If I trace the wires that I removed, it comes right off of there. So it's exactly right. Okay? So that's the story. Just to wrap this up, I did find 9 capacitors, 9 resistors, and I have to add the 2 electrolytics that I don't have listed here. So it's a total of 11 caps and 9 resistors. If you look at this parts list right here, there's a lot more than 9. There's a lot of pieces in here that aren't present in the radio. The actual resistors are correct, so I've got those marked. But there's parts here that are listed that just don't show up in the radio. So we're not going to worry about that because these could be different revisions. Okay? Let's get back to work. Okay, just to give you an update, I've replaced these capacitors right here. This was the original sardine can. And then the sardine can that was here I've replaced with these 4.1s. That's what it calls for. It's 4.1 600 volt caps. So I basically mounted a terminal strip here, and I've got them all mounted, and I've run the wires correctly. So this is completely out of circuit at this point. I've also replaced the tone control. As you could see, it was pretty mangy. It's an 80K tone. So I've replaced it. So that's here. And I've got long shafts on these things. I'm going to have to cut them back with a Dremel tool, but that's easy. So there's only one more thing I really need to do here before I do a power on. So thankfully, our friend Robert Gibbons taught me that a flexible wire resistor typically are 7 to 10 watts. I didn't know that. You would think that they'd be less because there's a thin wire running in there. But essentially, this wire resistor that was here was probably 7 watts. So I'm going to replace this 700 and I think it's a 770. I forget now. It's a 7 something. And I'm going to replace that with a 10 watt resistor. And it's 750 ohms right here. And I'm going to replace that with a 10 watt ceramic. Very similar to this one. Okay. This is the 220 that goes up here, right here. So we're going to replace that as well. And then we're going to basically take this thing and we're going to not put in the rectifier tube. We're just going to put the other tubes in. And we're going to put it on the dim bulb tester with the Variac. And we're going to slowly bring it up and see if I get filament. That's going to be the first test. Now, if that all works well, then we're going to put the 80 tube in there. And we're going to monitor B plus and see if B plus comes up. So we're getting really close to this thing. So I would expect that by Saturday we're going to start doing a test and we'll plug in the speaker and see what we get. So today's Thursday, and that's going to be what we do next. So pretty exciting. We're getting close here to be able to start testing this thing. I think we're going to be successful. I'd say the only gotcha can be, you know, the only thing I don't know how to do is align this radio, because there is no cans on the top, but we'll get to that. So anyway, that's the update. I'll be back when we start doing the testing. Okay, one last thing I want to show you is right over here there's an inductor, and basically it goes to the plate of the 27 tube, I wanted to make sure I pointed that out because it is a wire wound inductor. Excuse me. And it goes right down to this 27 tube here, and it also goes over to the tone control. And on the schematic, just so you know where it is, it's actually right here. Okay, so it comes off the tone control, goes directly to the plate right here of the 27 tube. It also connects down to the .25 caps. So I think what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to end this video now, because I'm going to dedicate the entire next video to powering this thing up, showing you the right way to do it, how I do it anyway, and see what kind of results we get. So I'm going to do it live. I'm not going to test it first and then, you know, make believe I'm doing it live in front of you. I'm going to do it, and you could see the sparks, or you could see the triumph. So that's going to be the next plan. So at this point, all components are replaced with the exception of this 2K flexible resistor right here, which I'm going to end up changing because our good friend John from Arkansas was correct to remind me that these things are just crap. They need to be replaced. So we'll replace that. We'll do our test though first. Okay? So we're going to replace this 750 ohm resistor, and we're going to do a power up test. We have to connect this ground to the chassis. That's it, and then we're ready to rock. So that'll be in the next video. Okay? We'll see you guys soon. We're almost there. Take care.